Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here with.
Mangareader by choice.
Yeah, Mangareader here once again to discuss another My Hero Academia review, chapter 358. The guy who has made some progress, and which I have dubbed, which is probably going to be spoilers, as Bakugo's progress. Now, despite the fact that last chapter we left on a cliffhanger of let's see, between the Endeavor versus All for One fight, and it looked like, Endeavor was just about to burn All for One for the crisp. However, he seems to have a plan up his sleeve to possibly survive or something like that, while Deku is probably is about to encounter an unknown force, but instead the chapter switches back to Shigaraki versus Bakugo and a few other heroes. In this, so, how about we find out how it goes?
Looks like we were both wrong last week.
Yep. Koei decided to surprise us. Anyway, on to the actual chapter. We're cut back, of course, to the UA flying building and all that stuff, where Shigaraki mocks the heroes about all they can do is flee to his giant mutation hands and all that stuff. As Sun Eater is just being hit, much to I'm trying to remember. I always end up forgetting her name. Big Free My Hero Academia. The Big Free. Let's see, Nejia Hado, also known as. Let's see, Neji-chan. Wait. No, wait. Let's see, what's the hero name? Elise is no. Oh wait, yeah, no, wait, oh yeah, it's Nejiri-chan. Let's see. Feels weird to have a Chan in the superhero name, but oh well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, but yeah, she's worried about her friend and gets attacked herself, though she manages to counter it just in the last second. While Best Genius tells everyone to keep their toes as they keep moving. Otherwise, they'll be swallowed up as we see him. Let's see, the Bunny Girl and Bakugo evading, let's see, Shigaraki's hand attacks. As they comment about why the hands are like a massive threat and all that stuff. Let's see, their mobility. Apparently, they've forsaken the ability of that of All Might or something of all that stuff. As I think Best Genius is using a move called Nippo. No, actually, it's the ninja dude. I mean, Edge Shot, I believe. Using an attack called Purple Thread Frotto, destroying a bunch of the hands. Now more hands grow from it. With them commenting that this is not really a quirk activating, it's more simple growth, a dubious claim. As Shigaraki explains that the more All for One quirk takes root within him and all that stuff, the more his body adapts and stockpiles quirks within all that stuff, and other elemental environmental factors. His body is, let's see, apparently searching and grouping to form its ideal, understand, let's see, Shina Kumeai. Now, that might be the name of the hero he's mentioning, though he's. But pretty much he's basically explaining with this like body and all that stuff. It's just it's adapting to his now. What's he merging with like All for One's quirk and all that stuff. And as he's giving rise to his own kind of world, if it says. As Shigaraki goes on to a speech about how he's planning to deal with like this world where appearance, form, and function. Between that and Ritzy getting rid of the status quo and all that stuff as he destroys it. As he ends up saying the words, these massive depravities give rise to the incomprehension. As he talks about how the current status quo pretty much leads to this sort of like rejection to like half the world and all that stuff and certain people. But under his rule, he intends to unite everyone as they're being exploited as the exploited class, if you will. All will be equal. As he mocks the heroes, asking them, don't they earn for such a world like that? But Bakugo doesn't really care. As he says, he doesn't care if it's really Shigaraki or All for One saying all this stuff. Preparing his gear as it starts to transform or come out to it, larger extra guns and all that stuff. As he's using what the support course has made for him. As he declares that either way, he's done hearing all this witty nonsense from him ever since Kamino Ward, and mocked Shigaraki of just doing nothing but yap about how I want to destroy the system and all that stuff. As Bakugo's new support gear allows him to do like a new form, if you will, the suppressive heavy mobile unit, the Staff Panzer. As Bakugo says, he hopes he's ready to be Swiss cheese and all that stuff, as he ends up rapidly firing of like all these like explosives, sort of like a, I guess describe with the explosive blasters on his back and a little bit even on some of his shoulders, I think. Let's see. As Bakugo shouts how they're going to destroy his real body. Let's see, and all of them together. As Bakugo probably comments about what working as a team as, earlier. Those two weren't exactly getting along. Well, as everyone kind of senses how Aizawa and Momonoe are still using their quirks to lock down Shigaraki and all that stuff. And Kaminari and the manga dude are still, keeping the whole place powered up with electricity. Well, Yasurosu or Momono, if you will, with like the chef hero, are still replacing the ground they're standing on with her quirk. As Bakugo thinks about how the lack of understanding in turn leads to dread and rejection, as he thinks back when Midoriya reached out to him during the Sludgeville incident. As Bakugo ends up asking him, Shigaraki, about how he talks about some big disparity and, lack of understanding and dread and all that stuff. As Bakugo says, he's long since taken care of all that sort of Ritzy stuff to heart. With Best Genius, Ritzy being surprised by Bakugo's words. As Bakugo says, he's seen a real step towards progress with all that stuff. Realizing that a lot of people have been taking that step forward. As he tells Shigaraki to shove his self-righteous, Sherman routine and calls him a nutsack-faced handyman.
Sermon, by the way.
That's sermon, sorry. And Best Genius for the first time ends up saying to Bakugo's full name, going Great Explosion, Murder God, Dynamite. As we sort of get a flashback, I think Bakugo talking about his new cluster move packing. It'll be able to hopefully take on All for One and Shigaraki as Bakugo now uses his new move, the Hausewit Impact Cluster, as he's firing all these explosions and creating a sort of circular explosive tornado, if you will, right at Shigaraki, ending the chapter. So, Mangareader, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's a short chapter. Highly detailed short chapter, but a short chapter.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. Not. I mean, it's just Shigaraki being Shigaraki.
Yeah, it's stuff we've heard from him before. Even though I think Koei's trying to find all these new fancy words to describe it. Either that or the Fizz is translating it as fancy new words.
Yeah, Bakugo progression at this point's nothing special either. I mean, we're kind of used to it.
Yeah. But I do like how he just ends up just saying to Shigaraki what he's learned from last time and how he's learned to work with others and see how they've all progressed, like particularly Midoriya.
Right.
But I have to admit, I do like Bakugo's new.
His extra added heavy artillery.
Yeah. Let's see. He's really going the whole commando thing, isn't he?
Yeah. Explosions.
Yep. But I have to admit, I did like how the design of their all in his back and like in a sort of sci-fi machine gun thing.
It is pretty cool.
And it probably is the probably next step to try and you want to cause more explosions, add all these sort of extra things on your shoulder packs.
Yeah, extra explosions.
But yeah, I do kind of find interesting how the support gear seems to just like they sort of like form themselves as like Iron Man's suit, where just like suit in Infinity War, where it just literally creates weapons out of nanobots. So I don't think it's nanobots here for Bakugo, and I don't know, it's not really explained what exactly his the sort of blasters are made of, really.
Right.
One thing I do sort of like is how Bakugo thinks about all the people that are helping him in the battle, even if they're not on the actual fighting bit. As you know, we've got Aizawa and Momoa
Yeah.
supported by erasing the quirks. Denki and the manga guy from Class 1B charging up the facility, while Yasurozu is using her quirk to create more like surface things. So it's like they're giving the support and all that stuff. And I like how a best genius ends up with CM calling ends up let's see, saying Bakugo's actual superhero name, despite during the last war arc he found the name to be entirely ridiculous.
This is insane.
But anyway, I think we also got a bit of an explanation on why this body transformation to Shigaraki is currently happening with the hands and all that stuff. It's apparently due to the fact that All for One and all the other quirks that All for One Stone have gotten inside Shigaraki. His body is, of course, adapting and all that stuff. Though, granted, that might have been from like the last fight we had from the last time the fight was shown with Shigaraki and all that stuff. But yeah, Sun Eater is not doing so well from the looks of things.
Which is weird, but
I do like how Nejiro was it. Let's see, despite even when she's blocking Shigaraki's attack, she's getting all puffy and angry about what Shigaraki did to her friend. But I do also kind of like how we see Edge shot, let's see, when using his Ninja Fred type of attack to destroy the hands, but they regenerate quite quickly.
Yeah, everything seemed. They keep regenerating. Oh yeah, shoot. If everything's regenerating, that's not a good sign.
Yeah. Let's see, so while it seems Shigaraki may no longer have the super regeneration quirk, his own body seems to have its own regenerative powers.
Right.
No, it doesn't seem to be as bad as the broken regeneration quirk that you've had issues with, from what I can tell.
I still don't know how that quirk exists in a series that generally keeps its abilities down to earth. Why is it that the one regenerative ability is basically able to save you from basically death?
Uh-huh. Well, I suppose that is the sad reality is shown, and they always got up the stakes, and that usually means ridiculous powers.
Yeah, well, these hand things really still don't make sense to me as being an evolution based
Hmm.
ability. It should, by all amount, basically, it's a way to just stop quirk. I don't know. It's just weird.
It's just a way to keep Shigaraki fighting while he has not got all his powers.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but at the very least, it does a decent, let's say, job of like the heroes having to dodge and avoid these attacks before, let's see, before like they can try and hit Shigaraki.
Yeah.
No, I do like Bakugo's Hauser Impact Cluster thing, a sort of tornado of explosions.
Well, he's been working up a sweat.
Yep. Now, I'm pretty much concerned that this attack won't beat Shigaraki, and it's probably like, if I had to guess from like the cliffhanger, it'll have some sort of effect at first, but then turns out, oh, Shigaraki's got some ace up his sleeve, and the fight continues. Though, for all we know, Koei might just skip to another fighting area again because it seems like that keeps happening now.
Right.
In
I
many
don't know if
ways,
it's an ace, but Shigaraki, at least at the to be continued sign, looks to be like, oh man, this sucks.
yep. So, anything more you want to say on this chapter, or do you want to talk more about what you think is going to happen next?
I don't even know what to discuss. What would happen next at this point?
Fair enough. Yeah, I have to admit. Part of me, if it wasn't for the fact that My Hero Academia is on a break like this week,
That too, of course, because he takes like periodic breaks now.
yeah, I probably would consider doing. I probably would have waited to do like a double chapter review of this, but
Right.
this may be our shortest chapter review yet.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, what is it's still the 13 pages, but it just feels like way shorter than normal.
Yeah.
A lot of detail though, so I guess that's proof that he's going to be on break again for some reason.
Yep. Detail and short chapter, but also means like usually that ends up happening with most fight scenes in My Hero Academia.
Yep. What was the previous chapter size? I guess it is 13. Well, what? No, they're usually like 15 pages typically.
Yeah.
That one was definitely on the shorter side for ending
Yeah.
it only in 13 pages.
Yeah, which is weird because I think usually when it's like Oda Kishimoto, they were like ranged from 17 to 21 pages.
Right. The one before that, it's like about 15 pages still.
Yeah. And the only other mangaka I know that did like 13 pages was Dragon Ball.
Yep.
But then again, manga was published a very different time back then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Anyway, overall, I think I'd give this chapter probably like a 7 out of 10.
It's 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not really much progressing the plot. It's just more of this like continuing on the fight between Bakugo and Shigaraki.
Yeah,
A
we're
bit
just
more,
seeing more of what the hands are up to.
yeah, more of just explaining what's going on with the hands. More of Shigaraki's ideal of like creating an equal world for all, where everyone's beneath him, if you will. Some might argue that might be based on some political anthropology, but who knows? But Bakugo is having none of Shigaraki's BS, and talks about how his own progress with like accepting people and all that stuff, like the people around us helping in this fight, and even with Midoriya. And he's going to take him down with everyone else as they end up using his new cluster move against him. So overall, pretty good. Let's see, a pretty decent chapter, but one not to get excited about, I guess, unless you like seeing Bakugo fight. Which is probably about let's see, about a third or half of the My Hero Academia fan base, if I had to guess. After all, Bakugo is one of those characters you either love or you hate.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
overall,
the last
well,
the last 3 chapters have been focusing on the more controversial characters in this series.
Yeah. Endeavor first, who some, depending on who you ask, does not deserve the redemption arc and all that stuff for what he did to the Shoto and and the rest of his family. And now you have here is Bakugo, who has always been a bit of a diverse rival character, but heck,
Yeah.
personality. But you can see how everyone's improving.
You can see how everyone's improving. So
Yeah,
you say?
Even only by a little bit.
If only by a little bit.
But yeah. So anyway, Mangareader, thank you for joining me with this chapter, and I look forward to the next chapter review with you, though arguably I might want to get you to discuss the latest fight with Record of Ragnarok.
Yeah, I'll start reading that too. I haven't read up to it yet, so I'm just gonna read all that battle at once.
Fair enough. But yeah, the fight's now over and all that stuff. But yeah, while this fight in My Hero Academia is continuing, now whether or not we still follow it, as it seems Kawaii is doing an older and he's skipping and changing fights just as they're getting interesting.
Yep.
So overall, I am Blue Star Saber.
I'm Mangareader.
And we are signing off. Plus Ultra, everyone.
Plus Ultra.
And with that, everyone, and goodbye.
Good.